Hello and welcome back to Fasting Faithfully. In today's video, I'm going to be doing some meal prep for our week. This is mostly for my family because lately I've been extremely nauseous and I've had no appetite. I've basically been living on smoothies and protein shakes and toast because I just can't get anything else down. So there is, I think, one or two things that I'll probably indulge in that I'm making. But nevertheless, I just hope this gives you some motivation to get your meal prepping done, to have a few things ready to go in your fridge. So let's go ahead and get straight into this video. Okay, so to start off this week's meal prep, I am going to be boiling 2 pots of water. If I have to boil water, I always do it the first thing because I think it takes forever. And obviously I could be doing something else, like why the water's boiling. So like I said, I'm going to get that on the stove, and then next I'm going to be washing up some eggs. We actually have our own chickens, and they've been laying like crazy as they do normally in the summer. And if you've never had farm fresh eggs, then you wouldn't know that they sometimes come with a little bit of extra credit, if you know what I mean. They're not like the store-bought ones that you have that are all nice and clean and have been through a sanitizing machine. So it's always a good idea to wash your farm fresh eggs before you use them so you don't have any nastiness in your food. And I'm going to be actually making a potato egg salad for my husband. He loves this for lunch. It's super easy. It's something different besides eating a cold sandwich every day. So I'm also going to be peeling some potatoes here. Peeling potatoes always makes me think of my mom. She grew up in the restaurant business, and she's the fastest vegetable peeler I've ever seen. And she doesn't use a vegetable peeler. She uses a knife. And it's always just so fascinating to me to watch her do it. I'm going to go ahead and boil the eggs and the potatoes. And yeah, I've always tried to learn how to peel my veggies and stuff without a vegetable peeler unsuccessfully. So I'm always just wowed by her. Now that my eggs have cooked, I went ahead and peeled them, let them cool for a little bit, and I'm going to chop them up in rather big bites and toss them in a bowl. These were actually still pretty hot. I usually like to let them cool down to room temperature, but I'm trying to get a lot done today, so I just went ahead and did it while they're still hot. Same thing with these potatoes. These were burning my hands as I was cutting them. You can see the steam just rolling off of them, but again, we're on a time crunch. I do tend to notice that when they are hot, the dressing I put on it does stick to it better. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but that's just something I've noticed. So I'm okay with it being hot, even though it did hurt my fingers to be cutting this all up. I'm also going to be adding 1 large onion to this. Normally I would add maybe an onion and a half, but this onion was so strong, it made my eyes water so bad. So I just finally chopped one, threw it in. Again, just eyeballing, putting in mayonnaise, and my husband likes spicy brown mustard. I added salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic seasoning. Normally I would add also paprika and some relish, but I was out of those 2 things, so I just left them out. My husband said it still tasted okay, so that's good. I'm just going to stir to combine this and then stick it in a dish to cool down since it is still so hot. So I'm going to let that kind of air out for a little bit before I put it in the fridge. But other than that, my potato salad is done. Again, this is so easy for my husband to eat, and he absolutely loves having a break from just eating a sandwich on a regular basis. So I'm really glad that I made this for him. And actually, I was able to eat this and it didn't make me nauseous. So I did have a small bowl of this as well, which was good. And it was kind of a nice break from what I've been eating. I'm going to go ahead and wash the pots that I use because I'm going to go ahead and boil some more water. I'm also going to be making my husband a pasta cucumber salad. It is a cold noodle salad. And again, he loves this because like I said, it's a break from having to eat a sandwich every day. Before I do that, though, while that water is boiling, I'm going to be cutting up some vegetables. If you watched my last video, you know I love to have some fresh veggies in the fridge. It makes it so convenient just to throw it on my son's lunch tray or even at dinner sometimes so I don't have to chop it all up. He absolutely loves bell pepper. He sometimes even will take it off of my counter and start eating it like an apple. But Obviously, I don't like him to do that because he might choke on it, so I try to have it cut up and put in the fridge and put away so that it is ready when he requests it. I love that he loves to eat veggies because at his age, I was so picky and I refused. So it makes me feel good that I had started him out young eating vegetables, and that's something that he can carry with him the rest of his life, is this is just going to be normal for him. It's not like he's trying to be healthy or even diet. It's just the way that he eats, and I love that. Next, I'm going to be cutting up some cucumber. Like I said, I need this also for the pasta salad I'm making my husband, but because I'm cutting this up for my son, I'm just going to be making these into small chunks. And I also need it cut that way for the pasta salad. So this actually really worked out to do it this way. That's about the size that I'm cutting it. So I'm just going to cut these up and put them in a jar, and then I'll toss it into the salad, and whatever is left over will be for my son for lunch. So this is, again, storing it in these mason jars like I told you guys last week. I absolutely love storing it this way. So the pasta is done and cooked. I'm just going to be adding, like I said, the cucumber to it. And the only other thing to make this I need is coleslaw dressing. I think it's just called slaw dressing, actually. But you put it on coleslaw. So if you make coleslaw, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to dump this on. My mom was actually the one that introduced us to this salad. I think she made it one Easter or something. If it doesn't sound appetizing, you have to try it because it's really, really good. It's one of my husband's favorite things to eat. My son actually even likes it, and he doesn't usually like pasta. So that's good. And again, I'm just throwing this in a dish. The noodles are still hot, so I'm going to let it cool down before placing this in the fridge. My husband will probably eat this entire dish one day for lunch. He loves it that much. So I highly recommend just to try it. Next, I'm actually going to be meal prepping something for me. I bought a couple of these Caesar salad kits, but I definitely cannot eat them all in one sitting. So I'm actually going to break up the dry ingredients into two and just mix the pepper and the seasoning that comes with it and the cheese and I think croutons and break it into two salads. I'm really struggling getting really anything down that's not like a protein shake or toast, but I want to try and up my veggie intake because, for obvious reasons, for the nutritional value and stuff. So I love Caesar salad. I know it's not the best vegetable, but it's still getting in an extra vegetable that I wasn't eating. So I'm just going to toss these together. I'm going to leave out the dressing that goes with it, and then I'll just toss chicken in it when I do eat it. But that way this is already ready to go, and all I have to do is toss the chicken on and dressing, and it makes for a really easy lunch for me this week. Next, I'm going to be meal prepping some peanut butter chocolate chip protein balls. I'm doing this just by adding 2 cups of oats. You can use any oats you want to. I've used old fashioned, I've used quick oats. I've never had an issue with any type of oats not working for this. Again, it's not really a recipe I'm following. I'm just kind of eyeballing, but I would say it was probably about a cup of peanut butter, probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey, and a good handful of chocolate chips. If I need to add more, I do. But I'm just going to mix this all together and form balls out of them. I'm making these mostly for my son, but my husband does, like I said, really like these. My son has recently discovered granola bars, and they are so terrible for you. Not only does it have a really high amount of processed sugar, but it also has a ton of additives in it. And I know this isn't healthy per se for a snack, but it is way healthier to make these instead of letting him consume store-bought granola bars. I at least know all the ingredients that are in this, and I can control the amount of sugar. And I'm not even using actual sugar. I'm using honey, which is a better alternative. It actually has quite a few health benefits versus using sugar. So it makes me feel at least a little bit better that he's eating a healthier option of an unhealthy food. And so I'm going to toss these in this container, and then I'm going to put them in the freezer. I find that if I freeze them, they stick together a little bit better. And then when it comes time to needing to eat these, all you have to do is just pull them out and let them sit for a little bit. It does not take them long at all to thaw out. It's honestly the perfect snack for my husband to take to work as well, because he can just put it in a baggie and then just put it in his cooler. It doubles as an ice pack, and by the time he's ready to eat them, they are all unthawed. The last thing for this week's meal prep is actually something for me. Like I've said a zillion times in this video, I've had a really hard time with nausea and stuff this pregnancy. And so I thought that a soup might help me get some more nutrients down. My uncle was in the military and he met his wife over in Japan when he was stationed there. So I grew up eating a lot of Japanese cuisine. I also got the privilege of being taught by my aunt how to make several traditional dishes, and this was one of them. So I feel really lucky in that aspect to learn from someone who actually comes from that culture, and also to be immersed in that at such a young age to kind of expand my palate. But I really, really do like miso soup. It's not only really tasty, but it's also very, very good for you. It has a ton of good nutrients in it. And over in Japan, they actually eat this with most of their meals, especially at breakfast time. So that's what kind of gave me the idea of, okay, maybe this is something I could try out for breakfast that might help my nausea and might help me get in some more nutrients, like I said. So, and I actually was able to eat this. I ate this for several mornings for breakfast. It did kind of wake my tummy up. It kind of settled my tummy down. So I was really happy about that. This is just a basic miso. You can put meat and you can put veggies in it. But this is just, it just has tofu, seaweed flakes in it, some miso paste, and the base of it is fish broth. And of course, you cannot forget the crunch of green onion in it. Like I said, I was able to get this down, and I'm really glad that I made it. That is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these types of videos, give me a big thumbs up. It's free. It helps this channel out, and it also lets me know to continue to make these types of videos. But otherwise, that's going to be it for today's video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!